Yeah, when I walked up to the screen a little bit ago to get my cup here, I noticed it was a dog looking at me through the camera. I saw a
Oh,
dog
really?
looking at me. Yeah.
What did he do? Did he jump up here on the couch?
He jumped up and was looking to see who was on the other end. I said, "Hello, doggy," but yeah, he was just sitting there looking at me. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good boy.
Oh yeah, that's him. Hi, buddy.
Okay, better get back in here. You over there? All right. He probably appreciates that you brought that up because he would have been locked up there. He'd rather be down here with me.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought it was funny. I came back in here to grab my cup. I see a dog looking at me on the computer. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. If Winston and Woody were still around, our dogs, they would have been in here trying to look in the camera. We talked to somebody from the Netherlands that she has a big red dog that every now and then he likes to just kind of stick his head in front of the camera while we're talking to her. Like he'll come in and go, and kind of grin at the camera and everything. So it's pretty funny.
Hello? Yeah, okay. Tell him to, yeah. All right, thank you. All right. All right. Already. Welcome to another exciting episode of You Don't Know. You don't know, huh? So don't act like you do. We're out here for part 2 of the interview with Christopher S. Jacobs. And let me tell you, part 1 was fascinating. Christopher, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here with you. It's fun to be here.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for joining us for this second hour. Christopher, the viewers, we've had several people reach out to us on the comments and stuff like this, and let's talk about how people can contact you for the services.
Sure. Joanne and I have a website. It's called The Lifting. People can reach us at the URL, thelifting2017.wix site. That's WIX site.com/thelifting. And can reach us on our email at thelifting2017@gmail.com.
Okay, and of course these are being displayed. These are being displayed on your screen right now for the viewers, so that you can have the website and also the email address to contact Christopher or Joanne and get the ball rolling with whatever the various services that they have. And let me tell you, they're very powerful, worth it for sure. And you can just take it up from there. Christopher, I was in Utah just a couple of weeks ago, and went down there ostensibly. Actually, I have a policy like if I travel somewhere, I also kind of want to turn it into an investigation of some type. And now that we know that there's all of this paranormal stuff in ancient ruins and all this different, Anunnaki, elongated stuff all over the earth, you could just go anywhere and do an investigation almost. But Utah is it's a desert, those are associated with spirits and stuff like this. Anyway, ostensibly I was there to help, to have a romantic excursion with a young lady, a very beautiful young lady. And so the tickets got bought and everything. And then it happened that somehow her father, who had died a couple of years ago, anyway, she needed to recover this furniture, and that's why we had to go to Utah. And I said, okay, well, we'll go look at these petroglyphs in Utah, and we did a great investigation on that and everything. And so it was kind of hazy in my mind, the exact reasons why I was doing this, going on this trip and everything. And in retrospect, I wasn't really going there to do either one of those things. It's pretty certain in my mind that I was, being compelled or led, or I'm not sure exactly what was going on, to meet a man. And the viewers know that I'm in a fraternal order, what some people call a secret society. And it just so happens, as by coincidence, the young lady that I went to meet is a member of this order, an initiate. And I knew this before. I knew this somewhat after we met. And it's even hazy in my mind how we even met. It was through the internet and everything like that. So before I went down there, I did know that. And I thought that was a coincidence. And, of course, coincidences are always a red flag.
Oh, yeah.
And I was talking to another one of my a psychic named Tara, and she told me to be on the lookout for that she was trying to read the energy of this young lady, and she said that she had some shields up. In other words, there was something that was obscuring or preventing, and so there might have been some type of agenda. And I didn't worry about it too much. But anyway, we did an investigation of the petroglyphs, and you know, I'd like to possibly get your thoughts on that in a little while. But we met this man on the way up there. You know, I flew to Denver, and incidentally, Denver is airport is just full of conspiracies, as any conspiracy theorist knows. There's a million conspiracies connected with that. In the Denver airport, you can drive onto the airport grounds and still have to drive 10 miles to get to your hangar. I mean, you know, your gate or whatever. So it's a massive, I think it's the biggest airport in the world, and not just by a little bit. And there is underground facilities there that it's admitted that they're there, but it's also a conspiracy theory, or, you know, whatever. It's alleged that there's like an entire city under there. And just by the number of cars, you know, there's that are not passengers, that are just in these outlying buildings and stuff like that. I mean, you know, it's just like car lot upon car lot. I mean, yeah, there's something big time going on under there. And there's also this famous mural that they have, which has a type of Nazi-looking futuristic soldier with a cyborg mask, and he has a machete, and there's some people cowering in fear down below him, and it just so happens this big sword is also piercing the dove of peace. So it's a very disturbing image, you know. And why they'd want to put that in the airport, you know, would be, you know, people are mystified about that. Of course, if you have experience in the occult like I do, the reasons become all too clear. I'm not even saying that I understand all the symbology of this, but at the very least, it puts fear in people just on a subliminal level to see these striking, harrowing images. And so I've got, of course, got a picture of that. And there's another thing that people say, and it's this huge statue of a horse with like red eyes. That's, I mean, huge. It's like 2 stories tall, and I got a picture of that too. And so, you know, right off the bat, we, you know, arriving in Denver, you know, experiencing these type of, I wouldn't say paranormal things, but just stuff that's weird, you know, and that's kind of been on my bucket list, wanting to see that mural and stuff like this. And of course, there's other weird things about Colorado. Everyone knows that they are involved with they're the first state or whatever to have this medical marijuana, which is ultimately went to, I think, recreational, the way I understand it. And let me tell you, this shit's fucking good. I mean, it blew me away. But anyway, on the way up, so we had the trailer and everything, and we were going up to Utah. Well, we stopped in Idaho Springs to meet with one of her friends, and we ate in a restaurant, and I met this man, and his name is, let's just say his name is Joe. Okay, and the young lady that I was with, let's just say her name is Gail. I don't really want to use their real names. And so we ate in a restaurant and everything like this, and he was a very kind of gregarious guy and everything. And so ostensibly, you know, and so that was a nice meeting, and we just went on down the road. And then, you know, then we went and we got all the furniture and stuff like that. Then on the way back, we went to Moab, Utah, and saw some really amazing petroglyphs and stuff like this. And on the last day, you know, is where or the last night, we spent the night again in Idaho. We did not spend the night there in Idaho Springs the first night, but this was the day that before I was to come back. We went and stopped in Idaho Springs and to stay with this man, Joe, overnight, because then we'd go to the airport in the morning. Now, in Idaho Springs is very high up in the mountains, you know, very high elevation, but on this mountain that he lives on, it's like a 25-minute drive or something up the mountain. You almost have to have a special vehicle, a very, you know, good vehicle. And I mean, it's going almost straight up. So, I mean, you're talking about very high elevation. And I think that has something to do with all of this because, you know, the air is rarefied. I don't really understand it. And another interesting thing is that I learned is that this man has had a Bigfoot sighting right up there at his house.
Uh-huh.
which didn't surprise me at all. Knowing what I've learned about Bigfoot, and then also what I've learned about Bigfoot from you, didn't surprise me at all. Well, it was planned, or maybe kind of planned, or something like that, to maybe have a little bit of experience with some entheogens. And by that I mean what people commonly refer to as magic mushrooms. And it just so happens that it maybe been a couple years since I've done some, but I used to do them quite a bit in my younger days and stuff. And so I was kind of nonchalant about it, thinking, oh, it's no big deal. And my psychic Tara warned me to be careful, because I told her that I was going to do this, and I said, oh no, it's a cakewalk and everything. Don't worry about it and everything like this. And they did warn me that these are some very powerful entheogens. Well, we actually didn't do them that night, but the very next day, and I wanted to do them. And so with
the internet connection just decided to just die immediately when we started touching on that stuff. It's very annoying when that happens.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'll tell you what, we just got smooth cut off, didn't we?
Yeah, that was very annoying. Yeah, I was hoping it wouldn't do that during the interview. It's sometimes the computer does it, sometimes the internet does it. The computer will think it's overheating, and then it'll shut off. And then the internet, for whatever reason, this one's new. The internet connection one's new, but where the modem just decides it's just going to shut off. And that's a new one. But
of course, it had nothing to do with the subject matter, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Oh, yeah. When that thing, I noticed, I thought Skype had just frozen. I looked over at the modem or at the router here. I saw none of the lights were on. I'm like, and it had cut off. And the thing of it is, I'm right directly in the hard line. It shouldn't have mattered either way, but everything just stopped. Yeah.
Right. And Christopher, as I was kind of building up the story, I noticed that that it seemed kind of like getting into, the mode or whatever where you can see these things. And so, where should we just start off? Do I need to, actually, I can maybe talk a little bit more, build it up a little bit more to give you and the viewer a little idea of what's going on.
Yeah, go ahead.
So anyway, there was the entheogens. Anyway, they hit very hard, and I was very hard. And this guy, he started showing us some stuff. He showed me a placard that he brought out, like a little poster, but with like a hardboard. And it said instead of the Brady Bunch, the Grady Bunch, because the Grady McMurtry, who helped the order survive and stuff like that after Aleister Crowley. And this is a hand-painted deal and everything like that. And he also had a copy of the Stelae of Revealing, which is another kind of holy artifact that we have in our deal. And this was made by a very good artist named Lucy, who I'm familiar with her. And it just, when you're these entheogens, you can always maybe read things into things that aren't there. But I mean, it was just, here's what it was. He got the remote and he put on this, he just put on a movie for us. And then he left. And I was there with Gail. And for some reason I wasn't liking the movie. And it's a movie that was kind of animated. And it's a movie that people have probably heard of. It was there was this one movie that when this type of animation stuff came out, it had like Keanu Reeves and anyway, the guy who plays Captain America. And then also the guy who was Woody Harrelson the actor Woody Harrelson had him in it. So this is I can't remember the name of the movie, but that's a very popular movie. But there was another movie that was kind of like that, done with that same technology, very heavy stuff, and there's like these cartoon types of people talking to you. And one thing that brought up a red flag right off the bat is Stuart Swerdlow, who, and I'm not, necessarily saying, I believe everything he says. There's some difficult stuff there, but he claims that when people have dreams that are animated like a cartoon, that is programming. And of course, we know as from children that we were heavily programmed, at least in some way, by these cartoons, that we watched and that the kids still watch today. So, but this was like real actors, but it had been cartoonized through some special effect. Very heavy subject matter. And what tripped me off about it is this lady, Gail, she really, really wanted me to watch this movie. And I maybe wanted to turn it down or do something else and everything like that. She's like, "Oh, but don't you want to watch the movie? Don't?" And I, even in my different state, I was like, "Wait, something's wrong here. Is it something's being, they're trying to coerce me into watching this movie." And I started watching it a little bit, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all, and I decided that I didn't want this movie in my psyche. And when we couldn't figure out how to turn it off, turn it down, or anything like that. It was just, it was just there. And I finally just got up and left the room to separate myself from it. And I went in the other, and then she came in there and said, "Oh, you don't like the movie," and everything like this. Do you have any thoughts on this?
What I was picking up was the fact that she was wanting you to see this movie so badly, like what you were saying with the programming. It seems like seeing this movie is what I'm picking up as seeing this movie from beginning to end, from credits to credits. There's this programming interwoven in, and I'm seeing like this. I can even see the string that's in this programming. It's like this almost like a heartbeat type of line wave or sine wave that I'm looking at. That I'm looking at, that it's contorting and twisting, but it's in a certain that's even making me dizzy looking at that. Yeah, I'm seeing this. It seems to go out not towards your psyche, but into your energy. Like it's uploading something into your energy. Very much like the good forces out there will give you downloads. You have this. This also is a download, but from the bad guys. This almost reminds me of. Kind of like the MK Ultra type stuff, where they would get people into the altered states and get them to do violent things and stuff like that. This kind of reminds me along these lines. And yeah, when you were first starting to talk about this, I was starting to pick up on this, and this is more than likely why our connection cut the way it did. I was starting to pick up on that somebody was calling you out to that desert. Was like, I had a feeling you were supposed to see this to learn from it. I don't feel you were in complete danger. I feel your guides were protecting you there. But I feel you were meant to be put in that area so that you gained a little bit of knowledge about this. What I keep seeing is this sine wave that is moving almost like in a pixelation format. I keep seeing like these macro blocks moving through this sine, like they're woven together in this sine wave. And what I keep hearing inside, I keep hearing voices inside this sine wave that it's no different than if a gray alien would stare you in the face, to try to download something to you to get you to do something. It's this is up there with what we call, Joanna and I call, the Arconian binary network. There's an AI, artificial intelligence, that was programmed into this network to be able to guide these sine waves to people. Through television, through radio, through cell phone, through all of it, through computer. And we're always combating and finding ways to revoke this, have people revoke this programming. And the reason she wanted you, and this guy wanted you to view this movie from beginning to end without interruption, is because this sine wave from beginning to end was a programmed set of algorithms that would have uploaded to you if you'd seen it from beginning to end. And you were smart to leave the room. You had enough intuitive wherewithal to walk away.
Yes, and let me tell you this fascinating coincidence. And I don't know if I don't know how much she was programmed or that she was consciously doing this, but when it became clear that she had failed to coerce me to watch this movie, she very kindly and everything let me know and got, in my face and was saying, that we're still friends, me and her are still friends, but that we're no longer lovers.
Okay.
And so, I mean, the fact of me rejecting that movie and our love affair or whatever it was coming to an end at the same time, and it was, in other words, that was a direct result.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was a Okay. Now this is what's downloading to me now. This is reason being was the romance and the sex and everything was a promise or a lure to get you to view this movie, and that you were going to eventually talk about something, maybe some bit of disinformation they wanted to let out, some kind of programming they wanted you to kind of spew out over the airwaves. They tried this on me too. They tried uploading stuff through our own television and everything to get me to spew out disinformation. I was able to revoke the programming and set it aside and then inform people about the program. This is what they were trying to do to you, because you actually talk to people on YouTube all the time. So YouTube is a major way of both getting information out and disinformation out. Facebook too. So this is where the binary network seems to have a big grip, is right there. This is why I always put blessings and stuff in our videos, or in the description or something like that. Tell people revoke any programming from viewing this, etc., etc. Some people thought I was telling them, oh, I was sending the programming out. No, the bad guys are wedging it in there. This is what was going on with this movie. I was picking up something there in Moab too. You're there, like in the petroglyphs and everything. I was picking up both ancient and this going on. This other guy that you were with, I'm seeing both her and him in like shadow. I'm seeing you with light surrounding you in this room, but was he on your right and her on your left?
At one point, yes.
Okay. Yeah. I see no correlate at all. Now I can't say that she is this way normally. When somebody is saturated with this programming, it blankets them in this like black, trickle effect, as I call it, like almost like water. Or, I see this over them. Kind of like also in the movie The Matrix, when Neo would see the green lettering. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing, but black and white, like black and variations of gray and white is what I see when people are draped with this programming. I see it in everyday life, even going into like stores, going into, when people act weird, like when they do something stupid, you like, when you question for it, it's like, why would you do something like that? If people act really dumb, this is what we call the dumbing. This is that programming. This they wanted, but they had a specific and purpose in mind for you. I'm asking my guides to give me exactly what they were trying to accomplish here. Okay, yeah, I was right about the disinformation. And what else? Oh, okay, yeah, they're giving it to me almost like a quantum download. Something similar happened to myself, that I had to disseminate some programming that I got hit with grays. This is what happens. I'll sidetrack just for a second. This is what happens sometimes when the Greys and these Archon forces want people to commit crimes. What they will do is you'll see a black car drive by and the windows start to roll down. There'll be a Grey in the back that stares at the person, and then the window will roll up and they'll drive away. I had this happen to me when I started to remember some things. And what they were trying to do is either get me to commit some kind of crime to be part of the overall false flag or distraction in some way, to participate in that. And I feel this was part of this. But your guides had your back here because they were wanting to inform you about what's going on. Okay, yeah, that's right. They were informing you so you could report this. So you could actually report this to people. And this is also why we were cut off, because this binary network did not want this information out. And the thing with the cartoons, I know this because sometimes my guides would playfully show themselves as cartoon characters, like my guide Simeon. I didn't understand why he was doing this. He was trying to inform me of what was going on in a nonchalant way. He was trying to get me to remember this, that they do this to children. But this is, you had this reaffirmed while you were there, but there's something else there that I keep seeing that's almost out of grasp that has to do with these petroglyphs. It has to do with like the ancient ant people and such. I'm picking up this ant reference.
Yeah, I got the pictures. I got the pictures of the ant people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm picking up their influence. Some are good, some are not. I've run into ant people that are actually very kind. Even though the name Ant Friend in, I believe it's Navajo or Anastasia, I can't remember, comes up to the word Anunnaki. Believe it or not. because they were able to find in the area where I'm in, also in this part of Arizona, they were able to find bowls that had cuneiform scripting on them that were Navajo and Hopi and Anasazi artifacts that had cuneiform script on them. So these ant people are definitely connected. I know for a fact they helped the ancient native peoples go into the inner earth when the floods hit. So I'm getting this wave like you were involved in this somehow. I'm picking up a mix between modern, like you came back around to meet yourself basically from another lifetime, or some kind of past life or other expression affiliation there with Mohab. There's a strong Agarthan influence there. I know that much. Like inner earther influence there. There's underground areas where some of these inner earthers went to, but I'm picking up portals. I'm picking up ant people associations. Let's see. I'll ask my sources why I'm picking up your involvement in this place. Like you were drawn there for two purposes. One, to find out something from your ancient past, and then one, to be informed about what the binary network and all that's all about. Okay, well, I'm asking to see. Okay, I'm seeing when these two brought you out to this area. I'm seeing this whole area. I'm seeing Moab, and I'm also seeing Idaho. Okay. Ooh, okay. Now keep switching back to Moab. I keep seeing the petroglyphs. Like you helped out here at some point. I know that the version of you from Maldek may have been integrated into the incarnation cycle further back, but I have a feeling like your energy had some kind of influence here. You walked in your own footsteps, I believe, in this area. Like you either were incarnated as a native that helped out there, or because I keep seeing flashes of the ancient flood. I keep seeing this, like the ant people guiding people under the ground and everything. But I keep seeing something strange going on. I keep seeing dirt being thrown out there, like how a dog digs, and throws dirt aside. I keep seeing these tunnels and stuff being dug by something that could throw the dirt out incredibly fast, like a blower of some sort, or a dog digging, or something like that. I'm asking, what is your involvement in this? Well, I know Isaac, he was there, but give me a little more here. Let's see.
There was a Corona arch that I saw. This is next to Arches National Park. Well, one of the biggest arches is not in the national park. It's in a free area, and I had to walk 1.5 miles. There was other tourists and stuff, but I walked up there, and it's just, and I've got a picture of it. I mean, the people are like little ants compared to this thing. I mean, it's huge, and this is an arch that maybe doesn't go sideways, but it's like it's like you're inside of a room. I mean, it's just huge, and the hole is in the sky. So, I mean, it's obviously had been some type of ceremonial center for shamanism.
I'm picking up it was a city at some point. I keep seeing a city.
It's big. It was big enough to be a city. I mean, it was huge, and there was more than one.
This is interesting. I'm seeing water covering it at some point, and I'm seeing dry. I keep seeing the flood, bump, 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 back and forth. But I keep seeing this thriving city, but I'm seeing these people walking around. Some of them look like ants, with the antennae and stuff like that. I keep seeing walking around with humans. I'm seeing humans there too. But I feel like you were there, like either in spirit or as yourself from Maldek, I believe. I'm trying to think if you were taken when you came back to Earth. Let's see. You were there in some fashion, like you were watching. I don't see like a physical form, though. I'm seeing like some kind of guiding force. Let me see here. I'm seeing this giant city, and there are people being led down inside. I keep seeing these ant people looking towards the sky, and they're being some of them are running down under the ground. And I get it. Now I'm being shown beforehand with some of these petroglyphs. I keep seeing these glowing signs outside, like warning people to come down underground in some way, like telling people, like guiding people. And this was like this in the biblical world too, or over on the other end of the planet. I found out the Agarthan network was trying to, or that's the inner Earth tribes down there, were trying to guide humans before the flood underground by using like energetic signs, sometimes just signposts that would guide people with riddles that would go to different places and guide them to inner Earth openings. And this seems to be the case on this end of the globe too. And I'm feeling you were instrumental in this in some way, like you helped create this so people would be guided down. You were here to actually find that familiarity with that place, like you were there.
There's definitely entrances to the underground Earth there. I mean, it's just definitely. I even got the idea that especially since it's not in Arches National Park, somebody could easily go down that trail and just get, kind of hide from the rest of the people. And then whenever it closes, and it doesn't even close, there's no guards, there's no anything there. You could spend the night out there and no one would know.
Okay, back again.
All right, awesome. Yeah, Christopher, I put on these sunglasses because I realized it made me look like one of the ant people.
That's funny.
So I think we just got cut off again. It's just one of those things, and so I'm glad that we've reestablished this connection.
Yeah. What happened was the modem or the router just died again, and I had to restart the computer 2 times, and then it came back. That thing never usually goes. It's usually just the computer that crooks. But the computer's been okay. It's been the other thing this time.
Yeah, there's a little bit of, it seems like there's a little bit of high strangeness going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what I was picking up on before we got rudely cut off again by the binary network, it seems. But what happened was, I even wrote it down before it left me, was basically you were there to meet your past in Moab, and have that download come to you. But then the binary network interfered, and then or was going to interfere and was going to try to download other programming to you, so you didn't come into that knowing or come further into that knowing of your connection to these things or the information surrounding these things. But the joke's on them, because you found out more information anyway.
Yeah, and let me tell you how they might have interfered, and I don't want to blame this young lady, Gail, at all, but when we went to these one petroglyphs or whatever, it turns out, we had to kind of walk to them or something like that. Well, anyway, she just kind of bucked and didn't want to, she wanted to just go on to the next one or something like that, and that was one of the most important ones. Well, let me tell you, we ended up, and I told her maybe not to go there. We ended up on this road, and it put us in a line of cars that was the entrance to Arches National Park, which is not where we wanted to go. And we had a trailer, and it was like we were not going to be able to get out of this line. I mean, it went on for miles ahead of us, the cars. I mean, it would have taken hours to get in there. And we didn't want to go there anyway. And so I asked her to let me drive, and she was literally amazed, and so was everyone else, that I was able to turn that trailer and everything around and get going the other way. And then that's when we went to this other place where the petroglyphs are, saw them right there on the road. And then when we went to the place where the Corona arch is, she wasn't wearing the proper walking shoes and stuff like that. And we found out from the people coming back that it was like a mile and a half, almost a mile and a half walk up there. And I there was no way I wasn't going to do it. And so, I left her company for, supposedly it was going to be 40 minutes or so. It was 2 or 3 hours, I underestimated it. And so that was another thing too. I was out of her watch, out of her, care or company, whatever you want to call it. And I was off on my own doing this, looking at this Corona arch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel, because I was seeing a version of you looking at this same arch, like it was like you were like an ant basically next to this gigantic thing, and I was seeing advanced technology running moving around in this as well, able to I feel this technology was able to disguise things as other things too. Like this archway, I feel is more or less a piece of technology and not a rock formation.
I know it, and it looks like erosion, and it looks natural, although it's one of the most astounding things you've ever seen. But then again, you're wondering, how could the rain have done that? You know what I mean? It doesn't really make sense, kind of, you know. And and then it's also in this like huge room that it's awe-inspiring, you know. And I guess that's why they have so many thousands of visitors, you know, every year going to check that stuff out.
What I find interesting is I have a rock right here that is carved strangely. You know, you see this looks like a river rock, you know, that has these different shapes and stuff on it.
Oh.
Yeah, and this I found we were in Illinois when I found this one, and it's weirdly shaped. What happened was when we were out part of Lake Michigan, I did not know some of the mer people inhabited lakes as well. You know, there was this. I always come into telepathic contact when I was out on the coast. I was talking to some of the Myrmidon that were out in the ocean, and they were telling me some of them didn't like humans because they felt humans consumed too much of the environment and such like that. Well, I came across one of them at Lake Michigan, and this rock all of a sudden washes up on shore. And my guide, Simeon, basically said, this guy's being an ass to you. You might as well just keep this thing. I said, well, what is this? And he said, look at it with my eye, my third eye. And it's a piece of technology. It's not a rock. I could see interdimensional waves going through it and like lettering and stuff like that. And it was basically something that fell out of this guy's belt and washed up onto the shore. And I picked it up. And he was demanding I throw it back. It's like, no, I'm keeping it. You're being an ass to me. I'm keeping it.
Yeah.
You know.
Finders keepers, huh?
Finders keepers.
Losers sweepers.
Yeah, exactly. And Simeon was laughing. He goes, yeah, the guy's being a dick to you. Just keep it, you know. Well, I got this thing home, and we were looking at this thing, and you could just see like an aura coming off of this thing. It's like it's a remote. And my mother made a joke and said, you just stole some merman's garage door opener, you know. But yeah, this reminds me of the same type of technology where it's that ring. You know, that big ring. It's the same thing. They're making it look like rocks and stones. And the bad Anunnaki and the giants and everybody had this capability of disguising their technology. A lot of races do that, disguising one piece of technology for another. And I feel like you said you felt that there. And as soon as I just looked into this, I felt this immediately. Arizona has one of these that a friend of ours actually has gone out to see. It's called the Time Portal of Arizona. And I'm trying to think. It's somewhere near Phoenix, I believe. I cannot remember I don't know the exact location. I've wanted to check it out for some time. It's this opening that's like this. It's smaller. It kind of reminds me of the time portal from Star Trek, the Guardian on the City on the Edge of the Forever one. It's kind of reminds me of that. And the legend goes where a Native American boy stepped through it and disappeared. Well, what happened was first the natives tried to throw like food items through and rocks through just to see what could pass through this. And then they threw a rabbit through it, and the rabbit disappeared. And people that go to this place photograph, and they photograph vegetation on the other side where it's just open desert, and it's dry dirt out there. And I was told that was a portal to Agartha, or to the inner earth. That's what I was told that was. And this has that same feel to me. This big thing in Moab, this big giant doorway is what this had. This feels like a doorway they could move like vehicles in and out of, like ships and stuff out of.
Oh yeah, it's for sure. I mean, it looks just like something like that. And that's why I'm using this deal where we chat here to. I'm sending you the picture right now.
Okay.
So hopefully I've never. Oh, okay. There you go. Can you see it?
Yeah. Let's see. Let me enlarge this a little bit. Oh yeah. This is exactly what I had seen pop up in my head, was something this big. This is definitely Inner Earth tech that did this.
Do you see the little where I've written on the painting where it says people and it has that little line down there?
Let's see. I'll get this. Let's see. Yeah.
Okay, look how small the people are.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that thing is huge.
Mm-hmm. And the way they actually made some of these doorways, I found out they found this down, I believe, in South America. There are these openings that are perfect like circles,
Hmm.
and the ones that are eroded are ones that have been there longer. But there are some that have these sharp circular edges, and I found out it wasn't only the harvesters that had these spheres. The Agarthans used these too to dig tunnels. This is how they created the inner Earth, is they had these spheres bore out the inside and create this inner world. And this shape of this thing looks like that's how it was made, like some kind of spheroid thing bored that out.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It totally looks like a beam me up type of deal. Now, did you see the second picture that I put up there?
Yeah, these are images definitely of the ant people.
Yes.
Yeah, these are these. I've seen these before. I've seen Sasquatch paintings very similar to this before as well. Yeah, these are definitely ant people. They are shaped like that. They have these bigger shoulders at the top, and they have these. Yeah, they're like Schwarzenegger. They have these
And a little tiny little waist. Now, one thing I think that's interesting, have you noticed that both of those figures, each one of them seems like it's carrying a shield, but it also looks like each one is carrying a bow and arrow. And so it's kind of hard to rectify why they had the bow and arrow, or but then they had this high technology, or maybe the bow and arrow was some type of religious, I just don't know.
I'm picking up it's a piece of high technology that the natives mimicked after a while. I'm picking up like it may have been a weapon of theirs or some kind of tool that they may have used for digging or something like that, or defending. And yeah, my intuition's picking up on this, where it was a type of like energy type weapon or something like that. This is also listed in like I believe it's the Mahabharata as well from India, where you see these bow and arrow type weapons as well that some of these blue inner earthers had as well, where they had these bow and arrow type deals.
Well, now, do you remember Blade? One of the Blade movies where they had the young, good-looking lady, and she had that electronic crossbow, or not crossbow, but it was like a bow, and it came out, and it was like a vampire killing bow.
Yeah. This is what I feel this is, and the natives just mimicked it and used wood and feathers. I found out this is similar to candles. I found out were this as well, because the Garthans, the same thing, had these cylindrical pieces of technology that would have these glowing orbs sitting on top of them, and people mimicked those, and that became candles.
Wow.
I found out.
That makes
and
glasses
too. Yeah, and glasses too, like cups. They had a type of technology that liquid would refill the cup. It would just refill it. They wouldn't have to pour it. And this was also said in Norse mythology, where the gods had cups that were never ending. So
full of the mead and everything.
Full of the mead, yeah. That they had cups that were always full. So yeah, that's where that came from. And people, this either passed in the myth or it got copied into things like bow and arrows, and also dream catchers too. There was another thing with dream catchers where we found out that the ancient Mayan people, this is an alien race I'm talking about that comes from the Pleiades, that the Native Americans are descended from. They had a functioning dream catcher that actually was a piece of technology.
What is this word you're saying? It's a functioning what?
Dream catcher.
Dream catcher. Okay, got it.
Yeah, dream catcher, a functioning dream catcher.
Yeah,
they would put this up.
I know what they are. They're like the Native Americans have, and you see them even in tourist shops and stuff like this.
Yeah, and what they made was something that could block demonic influences, and it was a piece of technology. But then eventually our natives saw that and started creating these things out of string and vines and such. It's not like the holy things don't work. It's not like the blessed things don't work. I'm not dumping on that. It's just that we make functioning dream catchers as well, but they're made out of copper and crystal and shungite and stuff like that, and not out of string. Well, that's the same basis for this. Sometimes earlier man would mimic things they saw. The sarcophagus was the same way in Egypt, because those were stasis chambers. Some of these elongated skull beings would be in as well. So it's the same thing, and that's why they did the whole organ removal and stuff like that. They figured it was a procedure they saw these aliens doing. Humans didn't know too much about it, and so they started mimicking this, and it was they thought it would preserve the person. Yeah.
Right. Well, a vampire's coffin is kind of a stasis chamber, isn't it? You know,
Oh yeah.
he's asleep
Oh
in
yeah.
there. Yeah, so that's very interesting correlation. I like that. Now, Christopher, if you'll take a look at the two prominent ant creatures, the one thing I'm having a hard time deciding is whether they have, in other words, if their head is that big helmet, or it looks like there's two eyes right below it. So I don't know if there's like two little things hanging down here, or if that's like their face. It's their face down here and then a helmet up here, or if they have a long skinny neck and that thing on top is their head.
Yeah, the ones I've seen have like a long skinny neck, and they do have the bigger shoulders, but they have eyes where we have ours. These are parts of their face that come down, these jowl-like things that come down. That's part of their face.
Oh, and so that's maybe like the things of an ant, or something.
Yeah. Like a mandible, like
the pincers or whatever.
The pincers, yeah. And some of these beings have actual jowls that come out of their cheekbones too. It's not just the pincers. Some of them, I know, some of these bug species have the pincers, and they have these weird like skin jowls too. But yeah, these beings seem to have both of those. They have like the pincers and they have that. But the natives were trying to mimic what they saw, and some of these beings did carry shields and energy weapons and things of that nature. So that's actually accurate. Yeah.
On the far left of the picture, it looks like there's a four-legged creature, but it almost looks like it's half man or something. You see that one?
Oh yeah, on the far left. Yes. I've seen that. There's also some of those look almost like they have crabs with pincers on them, on the sides. Some of these species, I've run into a race of fish and crustacean type people as well, where they have the pincers like the crabs, and some of them are actual like four-legged beings that walk around as well, but they're sentient beings like us, but they walk on all fours. I've seen these type of beings too. So yeah, this makes sense. A lot of these beings pre-flood Earth were working together, because I found out the pre-flood Earth had a lot of these beings that worked together in sometimes relative harmony, and then the bad guys came in and screwed everything up.
Right. And so now, the ant people is almost in a way kind of reminiscent of the mantid people. The praying mantis.
Yeah. The praying mantis people, some of them are good, some of them aren't. There's some grasshopper-looking people that some are good and some aren't. Some of the mantid people are responsible for abducting people and operating on their back and sticking implants in and such. But the ant people, from what I've seen, they also have run the gambit. I've run across good ones and ones that don't trust humans, or some of the aliens that some of the humans are aligned with, or something like that. There's a division there with the ant people too.
Okay, so that was my next question. I know that you've beheld these, mantid people and stuff like this, but you've seen these ant people, or just you've seen them in the past, or you've seen impressions of them, or you've seen the actual ones, or what? What's that?
During channeling sessions, I've remote viewed a couple of these ant people. I've seen what they look like, and so they match the historical record, with some of those pictures. But I've actually seen insectoid beings with my eyes. So I've seen like the mantid beings with my eyeballs. So I know that some of these are good, some of them aren't. Some of them are human-like, that have like a book.
Okay, it seems like we're Christopher's image has frozen, as you can see. So we may be, in fact, experiencing more technical difficulties. Let me see if the call. Christopher.
Okay, yep, I'm back in.
Oh no, that's great. I'm so glad that you're back with me. Do you see those two pictures that I just sent you?
Let's see here. Let me see. No, let's see. Hang on. I got to scroll down. No, I'm not seeing them. You might want to do it one more time. Oh, yeah, there we go. They took a minute to appear. There we go. Okay.
That's a temple inside that house I was in up there on the mountain.
Okay. Yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah. That's an interesting picture. The fact that they're using the Egyptian look with the obelisk and everything. Yeah, that's very interesting.
Oh yeah. We we use those that symbol extensively. And then you see there's a T on the floor, like the letter T.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also like I guess it's not an equilateral triangle. I don't know if it's some type of triangle down there. And then you see the sun hieroglyph on the curtain that's covering the altar.
Mm-hmm.
And then it looks like there's some roses to the left and to the right above that. Fascinatingly enough, there's, I don't think this really means anything, but here at my townhome, we've got roses that the homeowners association takes care of. I just noticed them the other day. I've only been here a few weeks. But roses, that always kind of reminds us of the Rosicrucians and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And I've noticed that there's a direct link to these particular cabal families and some of these funeral rites mixed with some of these flower arrangements and everything. I'm not sure the complete correlation, but when I was part of when I was going out with my Sage Paranormal group, we noticed some correlations between funeral rites and Masonic and Illuminati type stuff as well. We noticed some correlations in there, and roses always seem to be present in all of those. So your brain is picking up on something that we were trying to put together as well.
Yeah, and all of these Western Hermeticism, these Western Hermetic societies, it's all straight Egyptian. I mean, it's just they're all the same in that regard. Actually, I'm wondering right now is I can't see my image or your image because I foolishly I guess maybe X'd out of it. You can still hear me, right?
Yeah, I can see you and hear you. Yeah.
But is it showing my face on the screen or is it showing this picture? I'm trying to put the picture up there for the viewers.
It's showing your video. I'm seeing.
Okay,
I'm seeing
that's
the video.
fine.
Yeah.
I can put the pictures in there later. So anyway, and I'm not going to worry about that. I can't see you or see me. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm thinking in a couple minutes we should conclude this just in case it decides to die on us again.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, now I can see everything. And so, let's talk about in wrapping everything up and everything, some bullet points we need to go over or anything we need to talk about, like maybe the orgone rods or just anything you feel like talking about.
Yes, yeah. These rods that we've been working on have worked tremendously. We created ones that could create shields over people's houses. We created some that can even destroy demons. We created one that I lovingly called the Holy Hand Grenade, based on the Monty Python Holy Hand Grenade.
Yeah.
The torsion field there are two opposing torsion fields that draw in and basically tear apart these demon entities and then expand and then basically expand into like a positive like explosion, which then it sends like a wave or a blessing over the whole land, and we dubbed that one the Holy Hand Grenade. And then that's for basically sanctifying graveyards and all this other stuff from ghouls and all this other stuff. Well, then we created a wand type for healing that has amethyst in it. That's worked very, very well for healing some of my leg conditions. I had some nerve jumping and stuff in my legs. It worked very well. And then we have one that we're working on that's combating the AI that's within smart meters. That seems to work extremely well. A friend of ours out in Washington tried it out on his smart meter, and the first response he got was a Chinook helicopter flying over his property.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and the energy on his property, get this, he has a dog that was losing his hair. The dog was losing his hair, and they didn't understand what was going on. Well, we correlated the hair loss with electromagnetic waves that were near negative ones from the binary network because of the fact when that rod was put up that combated the smart meter, the AI that was in the smart meter, the dog's hair started to grow back. And he's just fine now.
Yeah, well, there's been a lot of controversy surrounding these smart meters, and there's people saying they're no good and everything. One thing I'd like to point out to the viewer, if they purchase one of these orgone devices from you, I'm sure it comes with all the warnings. This is not a kid's toy. I mean, it is not. It's very powerful, and so they can be. You don't want to neglect them or use them in an improper way. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. You don't want to overuse them because you can oversaturate yourself with this orgone energy. It can actually screw you up. Like if you take one of the rosa rods, the big ones, and have it in your house, it'll fill up the house with too much, and you can get overwhelmed by it. Like the one for the smart meters is for outside use only. That's how strong that one is, and it's basically like a sword that pierces these smart meter AIs, and we have them hidden within birdhouses so that it looks inconspicuous, And we're working. That was something that was in the testing phase, and we saw some magnificent results from that one. So we always tell people, these things also can be magnetically charged. Don't put them near like your computer or something, or the orgone field's so strong it's been known to mess with computers and such. And we always recommend that people wrap it in Mylar when it's not in use. Like the Mylar wrappings that it comes with, we wrap it in Mylar or aluminum foil, and it seems to shield it until the people need to use it again.
Okay. Well, in an earlier interview, which the viewers may or may not have seen, you went over the fact that there had been a clandestine group that had been using this technology in a bad way, and you were able to shut them down, and then reverse engineer these orgone devices to be used in a positive manner.
Yeah. What was happening was an alien race had brought this really advanced orgone technology through to a couple of people, and we found out that this race was wanting to use it to clear their enemies off the face of the earth so that they could dominate. And I figured, no, we'll stop them from doing that, and we created our own and retooled them, and now they're strictly for protective purposes.
Well, what has become of these people that were misled into doing this, and what's preventing them from making some more of them?
There's nothing preventing from making more of the rods, but just the aliens that were influencing them are no longer in play anymore.
Oh, okay. So I won't even ask about that. It sounds kind of nasty. A little bit.
They were an energetic species that was very. They came in with just a nefarious purpose. They were some kind of energetic species that kind of looked like a rainbow type light beam a little bit, and they were not positive at all. They actually attacked me and Joanna when we were in Missouri fairly badly, and that's when we had to oust these people because these people were actually sending these beings to do whatever psychic attack work.
Yeah. Okay. Now I got a question. Theratos. You know Theratos. He's about 12 feet tall, and we know that he was. That you found him under the ground over there in my last place that I lived at. Well, that was the last interview we had. Well, now I'm living at my new place, which is about 15 miles away. So is Theratos, he's still around, or is near me, or is it hard to say?
Oh, yeah, he's still around. Yeah, they can go anywhere. You can connect to them through thought heart space. They can come to you from anywhere. They can bilocate, even though they have a physical, the Sasquatch have a physical being somewhere else. They can bilocate just like I can. I can bilocate just like you can bilocate. So they can be near you whenever you think about them. Sometimes they're not always available, but they are always feeling with their heart space. They are always watching.
Right.
So
if you're in danger or something like that, they kind of get an alert or something, a notification, I guess.
Yeah, they tend to get a psychic sense that you're in danger. Now there are some forms of danger like what you were in Utah that you were meant to learn from. Like your guides kind of allowed you to touch base with just a little bit, not in complete danger, but just so you would learn from what was going on. They were trying to teach you. Like if you were in real danger, like danger of death, then they would have stepped in and went, nope, well, you're done.
Yeah, so fascinating. And I wonder what the correlation is that this guy that I'm calling Joe, that he had seen a Sasquatch up there near his property. I wonder if that somehow plays into this, or it just shows the prevalence of them. Prevalence.
Oh yeah, they're prevalent all over the globe. I've noticed. Yeah, there was more than likely. I feel there was a tribe of them out in that area too. The Sasquatch beings are all over the planet. I've seen many different kinds of them. There's good ones and there's not so good ones. But your guide falls under the good group, and I feel like this tribe that was out there watching you. I believe.
Okay, well, it looks like we've lost Chris again, and so that is no doubt going to end the the interview. Yeah. The clock's still ticking, and so I am. You're still seeing me probably. Anyway, it was a really good interview with